Don't you know you're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day? What's up, squad? This is Adam Pecora here. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Requiem for a Tuesday. Back at it once again. If I sound sick, it's just allergies. Wink. But it is, and it's annoying. The itchiness. And people say, "Oh, Adam, why don't you go get allergy medication?" I say to you, why don't you give me money? Oh, I think you understand why I don't have any now. So, there you go. I'd rather spend my money on good things like drugs and booze, not medicine. Waste of money. I once had somebody tell me, you shouldn't tell your doctor you smoke because your insurance will go up. And it's like, well, do you know what doctors are for? Because, I mean, it just doesn't add up there to not report the truth to the guy who's trying to keep you alive. Or gal. Just not in my case. It's weird enough. I'm not comfortable with doctors. I'm not like, fondle these balls freely or whatever. I don't want to show them anything. I don't want to take my shirt off. I don't want to do any of that. What a start to the show. I don't know. Don't know how that ended up happening, but it is what it is. You live and you learn, you laugh and you love. Pluggy plugs first thing, not first anymore, but second thing. Rate, review, subscribe to Requiem for a Tuesday on Apple, on Spotify, on Google, on Stitcher, on YouTube. There's a YouTube channel. Yeah, some extras on there. Literally just 2. So you got to kind of look for them. But yeah, subscribe across the platforms. Give me a little star rating. I was gonna say give me 5 stars, but you know what? Telling people to give you 5 stars is one, disingenuous, because it's supposed to be a review and a reflection of your performance. Give me 5 stars. That already knocks you a half a star because you asked. Means you need it. It's desperate. It's gross. I'm not a fan of it. But give me 5 stars. I'll do that on everything. Multiplex. You know what? We're technically making the announcement tomorrow when this comes out and in 2 days as of this recording. So I'm just going to say first announcement officially. Multiplex, new album, October 8th. So basically 1 month from now, as of the release, 2021. The album will be called Google, not the search engine. Although, wait till you see the cover. It's a parody. But the number, so GOOGOL. 17 tracks. It's absolutely nuts. Great production. Shout out to Lena Sutter up in Euclid, Wisconsin. And it's great. It's everything we've always wanted our sound to be and all that jazz. It's a romping good time. So more details to come, but it's coming. We're working on getting it like pre-saveable. A lot harder than you'd think. You think you just click a button, but apparently that's not the case. Either way, there will be plenty of links to it, including through this podcast. You already can get to all that, as I'm sure you know, through the links below. There is eventually a multiplex link tree We also have an Instagram. It's all linked together, okay? It's all linked together. Check it all out. And you can also get there through my Instagram at adam.rfat. Easiest thing to find. I got them tagged. I got my link tree, which is the main link tree, which is linked below and does all the stuff. So check everything out. I got solo music as well, but that's back burner right now. Multiplex coming soon. Can't wait for people to hear it. It's absolutely nuts. I guess it's also good that I brought that up just because there probably, most likely will be no episode next week. Your boy's got a busy schedule. Just kidding, but not really. I got Pitchfork coming. That's 3 days of my life where I won't really be doing anything or be on. Yeah, like I'll be outside all day watching music, obviously. So won't really be available to make this happen. We'll see, if enough interesting things occur in the outside world. May have to hop on, do emergency style, fit it in. But kind of want to just, take a little week off. So there's the announcement there. The album will be dropping in a month. No new episode next week, barring wild circumstances. And yeah. It's the busiest time I've ever had. The last, as far as like the past year goes, I guess. I have plans officially for 2 weeks in a row, and it is exhausting. And this is only the first week. So, in a miraculous event on Saturday night, went and saw a screening of Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, a polarizing film, at least at its release. I think now people kind of get it. When I got into Twin Peaks, when did I get into Twin Peaks? Like, I don't know, early high school maybe, I want to say. Could have been later easily, but in the teens, I was. When I first tried to watch the movie, I thought it was awful, like just dog shit. Now, I hadn't seen, I want to say, any David Lynch movie at all up to that point. Like, Twin Peaks was my first foray into my guy. I think so. Yeah, that sounds right. So the movie comes, and I'm, like, what the hell? Which I think was the reaction from any, like, fans of the show. I don't know about critics. I think critics were just like, all right, come on, dude. But, yeah, I don't know. It initially comes off as, like, pretty pretentious, I want to say. And also just, like, incoherent. Which, at this point in time, I will also clarify, doesn't even make sense. Like, I don't know how I ever thought that. The pretentiousness, I guess I could still see. But I think it makes total sense now, which is weird, but especially given that the return has happened as well. It's just a whole hodgepodge of knowledge, so it's impossible for me to be fresh-minded with it anymore. But I would call the movie a masterpiece. I think it's incredible. Very unique. I mean, every David Lynch movie is super unique, I guess, except for Dune, really. But I guess even in that sense, I don't know. I can't really compare it to much. I don't know. Anyway, big David Lynch stan. So this was a great thing. So the screening was happening. There was also a Q&A after the film with Dana Ashbrook and Shirley, a.k.a. one Bobby Briggs and the Laura Palmer herself. Now, I will say Cheryl Lee's performance in Fire Walk with Me is in my top 3 performances by anyone, male or female, or, whatever, or Andy Serkis, anyone has ever given, like, of what I've seen. I can't really say all time and mean it. You know what I mean? It's like you can say that within, like, the NFL or the NBA. You could basically have seen all of it at least enough. You know? I don't know. I guess that's not really a fair point either, but there's enough, whatever. It's more objective, I guess. Rough point, Adam. You lose that one. I'm sipping a yerb. It's bright and early, so once that kicks in, you know the drill. Motor mouth is coming. Don't worry. Your favorite. But yeah, I mean, she absolutely crushes it. The amount of guttural screaming she has to do is pretty impressive. Alone. But no, she just has to do everything. It's great. I don't even know what else to say. Like, there's not really any flaws I can point out there, especially because Twin Peaks had already rooted itself in like a campy soap opera-y thing, which basically perfects itself, or I don't know how to word this, but it basically like allows itself protection from acting criticism, because it's like, well, it's supposed to be over the top. So it's like, even if the actors are bad, which a lot of them are, looking at you, James Hurley, you know it. We all know it. The worst. It's protected because you can easily say, well, yeah, like that's the point. That's the tone. And it's easy. But I don't know. I think she absolutely crushes it. Like the fear and just the... You don't for a second think that isn't Laura Palmer somehow, even in this like surreal ass world with all this shit going on. It's like, damn, this chick's life is terrible. I feel so bad for her. Somebody help her, please. Looking at you, McLaughlin. And Bobby Briggs. What can you say? I'm gonna turn it upside down. He has one of the greatest arcs in the series, because he's kind of just an antagonist in the pilot, but then you're like, oh wait, he's cool, and then he's helping Shelly, but then he does more shady shit, and then you watch the movie and it's like, oh, he did kill a guy, but then like it's like he was kind of doing it in self-defense. And it's like, well, he's like selling cocaine. But also, like, who's he selling cocaine to? That part's never really clear. I guess it could be anybody. It could just be at school, but whatever. And so it's like, okay, he's mean to Garland, which how could you be mean to Garland? One of the greatest saints to have ever graced us as a father on screen, dare I say. He was just looking out for everybody, especially his own. What if love is not enough? It scares me too. Shout out to Major Garland. But yeah, so then Bobby eventually gets his moments as a police officer in season 3, and fucking Shelly 2 times him. I guess they're already separated, but still, just the pain is in his eyes is brutal. Absolutely brutal to watch. Fuck you, Shelly. I can't believe it. He rescued you from Leo Johnson. Anyway. It's absolutely unforgivable, god damn it. God, what a great show. I fucking love this shit. Somebody buy me The Return on Blu-ray. Thanks. And then there's, of course, and then like if you haven't seen it, there's also a great episode of Psych. That's a Twin Peaks parody episode called Dual Spires. They really did a great job, pulled out a lot of stops. Both Dana and Cheryl are in it, as well as there are many other cameos. There's a reference to something like every second in the episode. It's really, really good. I've watched it multiple times, and I don't even think Psych is that good of a show. It's very average. It's very like, I could watch this coming down on acid where it's like I'm not going to sleep, but I'm not really going to be awake. So we can have this on. It's a good show for that. Like, you can watch it for like 9 hours. But, you know, is it like, can't wait for another one, let's run it back? You know, not really. Not for me. I'd rather watch Monk. Always watched Monk. It was good. Shout out Tony Shalhoub. What was I talking about? Yeah, watch Dual Spires. So anyway, they do a Q&A after. You know, you always like are trying to think of questions because it's like, oh, maybe I'll come up with one that I know is good. So then I'll go up and ask. But it's just like, no matter what, what's the point? You know, you never really get the answer you think you're going to get because you're, especially in a situation like this, like you're asking the characters questions. Like, you're not really asking the actors things no matter how much you try to word it. And these motherfuckers coming up like, oh, the reason why I'm in film school is because of Twin Peaks. And they're like, yeah, sick, dude. You're going to be the next David Lynch. Good luck. You know? Like, they're going to be like, yeah, cool. Let me see your work, bud. I can't wait to star in one of your movies because you came to this thing that you're paying me money for. You know what I mean? It's just weird. Nobody cares that you're in fucking film school. Make a movie. You know? I'm just saying. Goddamn. And then after the Q&A thing, you know, they kind of brought people in little by little meet and greet, photo op. Both people were incredibly cool. I was beyond nervous. And it's like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? And then it's like, well, they're meeting like 1,000 people tonight, so it doesn't matter. You know, don't slip up and be like crazy. You just don't want to stand out. I mean, like, that's the thing. Everybody wants to stand out, but you're never going to stand out in a positive way. It's hard to come by. There was one time, I'll never forget this. I'm still a little embarrassed by it, but it's also kind of just like, I'm also pretty indifferent and like whatever about it because I've realized it doesn't matter ultimately. And it's also just kind of a funny story. So if there wasn't comedy involved, I probably would be a lot more infinitely embarrassed. But Deacon of Animal Collective was playing. He was like opening for somebody, which is crazy that he would need to open for somebody. At Empty Bottle. I used to live, you know, about a mile from there, roughly. So we would walk if we ever needed to go to a show there. It goes without saying. Which is nice because it's real easy to pregame at your house. And then it's a short walk there. It's like, what a money and time saver just all around. It's great. So I'm hammered. He's outside, you know, doing whatever, as small venue people tend to be, you know, fluctuating around the room and stuff. I just lose it. I'm like, I can't not say something because if I don't say something, then that'll eat me alive. So I just kind of yell, I'm like, Deacon! They came up, and I just fanned out. I was like, you're the man. I love you guys. I've seen you so many times. And he's like, yeah, dude, thanks. You know, whatever. I remember at one point, I was just like, man, just like, you're the shit, you know? And he was like, yeah, you're cool, too. And I was like, oh, no. Even then, hammered out of my mind, when I heard him say that, I like, almost was, like, throwing up. But, like, internally. It was just like, oh my God, he just roasted me so hard, and I just have to take it. This guy hates this so much. He's afraid of me potentially right now. I don't know, but he was like, damn, I got fans. It was weird. So anyway, from my point is, I don't want to do that again. You know. You feel a little shy, you feel a little awkward, whatever. They're aware of that, one, and they're not going to care if you're just like, hey, they'll be like, oh, Dan Ashbrook, I will say, was very open and talkative, and he got me talking to him. It was very impressive. Hell of a nice guy. Dana Ashbrook, if you end up somehow listening to this at some point, hope your fantasy draft went well. My number one guy is Devontae Adams. I never get running backs, ever. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever win a fantasy league again. It's tragic, but it's true. But yeah, hell of a guy. And I mean, Shirley, what can I say? I mean, just like looking her in the eyes, I was like, hi. I don't really remember what I said. I kind of blacked out the whole moment. And I was just like, it's so great to meet you. It's so great to meet you. And she's like, yeah, thanks, buddy. And then, we hit a pick. What a sweetheart. Laura Palmer, what more can you say? The source of all goodness on earth. And the muse for some of the greatest television ever made. I mean, what a moment. What a moment. So much so that I spent almost half an episode talking about it. Didn't even expect that to happen. But it was just great. And then next night, went out to the old wrestling match. The watering hole. It's not the watering hole. I don't know what that even means in correlation. But AEW, here's the thing, not a big wrestling guy anymore, more of a child thing. And it's a weird conflicting scenario where it's like, did I grow out of it? Or did it get bad, like in reality? Or did I just grow out of it? Do you know what I'm saying? The truth is, it used to be much better. I think almost every single person of any age group universally agrees on that. So I guess it's not that conflicting of a thing. Guess I take that back. But so my point is just not that into it. Especially, WWE is just for children. And I get it if you don't like wrestling at all. I can understand why. There are people who ruin it by viewing it as true competition. And people are like devastated by a win or loss. And it's just like, what? It's indefensible. It's just, But I mean, you're also like reacting to a live television show. I could see how you could get swept up in it. So maybe I take that back a little bit. You ever cry at a play? As simple as that. Just think of that. Sorry, people have emotions. No, but a lot of the fans are insufferable. Anyway, AEW, a vast improvement. They're like, hey, how about we make wrestling like about wrestling? Because like you watch WWE, and it's like this is supposed to be like the best of the best, but it's like you can watch people like miss their cues and like not hit each other and just do like terrible clunky moves, and it's like you guys are using your best camera angles to like really sell these things, and they still look like really amateurish and bad. And it's like, I'm supposed to take this serious at any level. Just dropped a thing, sorry. It's just like, no, I can't. Because it's already such a ridiculous thing that like selling it is everything. That's why the characters have to go so hard. You have to be fully committed to all of it. Like, in the ring, out of the ring, and they're just not. They just want to sell t-shirts and action figures, and it's not about talent. And that's a problem. Like, imagine if the NBA was just trying to sell you the NBA merch. And they weren't trying to, like, promote games or players. Like, they weren't like, come see LeBron James. They were just like, tonight we have a basketball game. That's basically, like, how they're operating. It's kind of like UFC, but ineffective, because UFC is, thriving. UFC is a luxury where you can turn it in. I tune in every week, and I never know who's fighting. Like, even if I know who the fighters are, like, I don't know that they're fighting that week. And it's like, oh, what a nice surprise. I actually know somebody this week. And then if I don't know anybody, it's still like, well, I'm definitely still going to watch this entire thing. But, my point in the comparison is like, oh, well, people are just anonymous. And it's like, I just like UFC. I like this promotion. They do a great job. Everything about it. And that's what WWE wants. They're not. They're like a thin veil of the same thing, just without any of the people involved being good. There's a handful here and there, I'm sure. So anyway, long story short, it was great to see, just a commitment to, like, the actual, dare I say, art form of wrestling, and watch people, like, actually do real shit. Again, I know that it's not real, but you know what I mean. You can't fake gravity. There's nothing secretive about that. No ifs, ands, or buts. So it was a great time. We were in a suite. Shout out to Cousin Jeff, if you're listening. He's a radio man. Guess it runs in the family. No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't try to claim any professionalism here. But, yeah, what a busy weekend. And then I got Pitchfork next weekend. Like I said, it's just like, Jesus Christ. Look at me having things to do. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? It's great to see someone finally, like, challenging the brass, too. When you go unrivaled, that's also the reason, like, for the negligence, and, like, you don't have to care. People don't have any other option. Like, this is what they got. So I feel like it just allows, I don't know, poor execution. It's like what's happening with ESPN. Like, ESPN is a horrific channel. But, like, what app am I going to use to get scores and, like, news from? They have the best reporters working for them. They've got, and they have deals with every league. So it's like all of the functionality of, like, their app is going to be necessary. I'm sure there are other great apps for that. I've heard of some, but whatever. It's just the easiest all-in-one for everything. And then ESPN Plus, like I said, UFC, great. 30 for 30s being available, that's cool, But, like, other than PTI, which has been awesome my entire life, I've been watching it since I was, like, 7. That's still great, but it's like, SportsCenter is terrible. Everything is centered around all these take shows where it's like, we're just inventing narratives and then arguing about them, and it's just people screaming about, and it's just like, what is this? There used to be shows where guys would sit around and just, like, talk about why baseball is declining, and it's like, this is boring as all hell. But there were people who were fucking sitting on the edge of their seat, like, yes, this is exactly for me. This is just what I want. And they would have that. There would be a show for every sport and every league, and you know what I mean? You would get to know all the people on it. NFL Live used to be great. Trey Wingo, Mark Schlereth. And I'm sure every single generation thinks whoever they grew up watching on there were the best people at it. I'm just saying, like, it has gone so far to the wayside where they're just getting rid of everybody with skill. I mean, and does it make sense? Like, why wouldn't you want the best people? But nobody could step up and try to do that, you know? Even if FS1 or NFL Network or whatever, like, they have their own shows that are on the same slot, whatever. Like, ESPN is not losing the market share, like, because they'll always have live shit on. So, like, if some other channel, like, cool, you have good talk shows and stuff, but, like, are you going to take over? Are you going to be viewed on as the same level? It's just not going to happen. I don't think. I mean, it would be great, but, like, you're going to come at Mickey? It's tough. You know, the mouse don't play. But my point was, in contrast, it's just like AEW in wrestling is challenging that. So that's cool. It's just good to see things being shaken up because the fans were nuts. Those motherfuckers were crazy hype about that event. It was absurd. Honestly, like, at a like sold out wrestling thing, you will see crazier fans there than at any other type of event. And it doesn't really make sense. Like, I'm sitting there like, why is everybody losing their minds like this? You know, maybe if they handed out IQ tests at the ticket thing, you could see some kind of data that would correlate. If you know what I'm saying, that would be a guess. You know, definitely if you did like the I can't even say it. If you did like a BMI for everybody that went into, like, I think you'd be skewing in one direction. You know? But either way, the people are absolutely rabid. So it's still just a crazy environment to be in. It's like being at a playoff game every time. It's pretty wild. So it's good to see that happening just in general. You love a good, I guess that's the capitalist in me. Nothing like competition. Rest in peace, ECW, the only wrestling that ever mattered. Truly the best. Nothing like incredibly graphic violence. It was the best. I loved it. Anyway, moving on. As I mentioned last week, coming soon, gonna have a Halloween special I'm gonna be going through. I'm waiting on some shipments. But I'm gonna go through like the first 3 originals. Probably gonna watch H2O too, just to kind of see what they did there. I've never seen it entirely. I don't think I'm gonna like it from what I remember, but that's fine. I'm gonna rewatch the zombie Halloweens, even though I remember the second one as being like atrociously bad, like unwatchable bad. But we'll see. And see, it would be cool to have that line up with the release of Halloween Kills, so I might shelve it for that. Because this all came about because I had watched the new Halloween, which is also just called this. You can't reboot it twice because whatever. I can just say Halloween 2018, I guess. Wow, they should have called it that because it rhymes. The title should be Halloween 2018. Especially because it's retconning the original. It's set 40 years later. I mean, come on, guys. Was this a discussion 3 years ago? I mean, I'm 3 years late to seeing the movie, so like, were people talking about this? Welcome to my take. Right now. Anyway, I'm not going to spoil any of the stuff. going into that, because I already have a bunch of thoughts, like, just on that, just on the mess of canon. It's very frustrating for me. But Halloween 2018 was a great movie. Well, like half of it was great. I'll get into it. I'm going to save it. But the trailer for the new one looks awesome. So that's what led me down this whole path. So watch for that. Coming soon, but possibly not for like a month and when that other movie comes out. So we'll see. But building the hype. Building the tension. You know? It's still just very interesting to me that Danny McBride is the writer of that. You know, it's not shocking that David Gordon Green. I mean, I guess initially I would have been. I thought it was like strange also that he's directing, because he's like known for comedy work, but it's just like he's a good, really good director. So it's like, I guess that's less surprising. I guess it's kind of like the way Adam McKay has just like transcended. Like he's the Anchorman guy, you know? Then all of a sudden he's winning an Oscar and now he's just like elite. It's very interesting the way Hollywood has skewed. I don't know. I feel like it's not talked about enough. The way that like Jordan Peele and Adam McKay are like the kings of Hollywood. How did that happen? I love it, but how did that happen? I still think Jordan Peele's movie is gonna suck. I think he kind of sucks. I hated Us so much. That movie was so bad. Come on. Come on. We'll see. I hope not, though. Oh, boy. What else is happening? Should we do another little news segment? Let's open the news app. Let's see what we got. What can we... Taliban? Probably skip that one. Gavin Newsom. Gross. Doesn't deserve it. He should absolutely not have that job. Hot take. Lil Uzi Vert's $24 million diamond ripped out of his head at Rolling Loud. You shouldn't have a diamond in your head. I will say this. If I ever need a tooth removed or, crowned or whatever the things are that happen, I will request a gold tooth. Mark my words. Just because, like, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? You spend a couple extra $100 and you got gold. It's just sick. You know what I mean? You're just worth more right away. But I don't know if I would go with implant a diamond into me. Other than, my mouth is my point. Don't implant jewelry into me unless it's a hole in my gums. But also, I remember reading that he took it out before that already anyway. Probably due to infection. So maybe they got it put back in after. I don't know. That sucks. Don't spend $24 million on one diamond. Or on multiple diamonds either. Unless that's an investment of some kind. I just disagree with all of it. So. I don't know. Oh, wait. Okay, I'm clicking on the article here. So, that's why it was missing. He didn't take it out. It had gotten ripped out. I thought Rolling Loud was the festival that had happened recently, like over the weekend or something. But no. He said it was in July. They just ripped it out of his head. He did not lose it. So, what a just massively misleading headline. That's actually just not a story at all. He's like, yeah, it got knocked out when I jumped into the crowd. No shit, dude. Like, what did you think? Your body's not going to, it's not going to fully just become a part of your body. If it's an exposed, open hole, it could always come out. That's just so silly. That's number 3 on the top of my... That's the top of the top 5 stories on Earth right now. They gave me that. Okay. Well, glad you're doing all right, Uzi. You dumbass. It also said, I've been paying for it since 2017. It's like, dude, get a house? I don't know. You shouldn't need to be paying off. Never mind. Whatever. What a lifestyle, I guess. Congrats that you could do that, I suppose. My initial thoughts, too, were like, imagine ripping that out of his head, like trying to pocket it and just being like what could you ever do with it? You know, it's got to be a very much one-of-a-kind thing. I don't think that you'd be able to get 24 mil for that. You'd be lucky to get like a couple $100K from some guy who could try to move it. But all right, let's see. This is more in line with what I was expecting. Boy, 4, meaning 4 years old, shot in head visiting Chicago amid Labor Day weekend bloodbath. So, that's fun. 46 hurt and 3 killed this weekend. Honestly, like, as bad as this sounds, those are low numbers. Now, that's a lot of injuries. 46 people hurt. That means there's a lot of attempted murders. For sure. So, like, that's horrific. It's horrific either way. That sounds bad. But you know what I'm trying to say. Is that technically... I'm just saying, like, last weekend, it was like 16. It was horrific. It's just unbelievable. And that's it. They just keep reporting it. It just keeps getting reported, and nobody really says or does anything. It's absolutely tragic. I don't know why. Welcome to my comedy show. Jesus Christ. I thought that the news thing would be funny. Here we go. This is more of what I was looking for. This is an article by Mashed, so you know it's high quality. What will probably happen? So already, not a lot of confidence in what they're writing. They can't even give a headline that's like, this is real. What will probably happen if you use a fake name at Chick-fil-A? Sounds completely fucking stupid to begin with. Like, what could this ever be about? Some of the things that I see that are like attempting to be clickbait. I mean, like this. I'm only clicking on this for the show, but it's like, this like wants to be clickbait, but it's so who cares what will probably happen if you use a fake name at Chick-fil-A? I'm like, ooh, what probably might happen? It's like, ooh. Okay. So basically they're like, Starbucks spells people's names wrong on purpose. So do some other places. They list some other things. Yeah. So when it comes to Chick-fil-A, a company notorious for going above and beyond, what is the protocol for names people suspect might be fake? What? Hold on. This is so fucking stupid. Okay. So That was one of the most embarrassing and painful things I've ever had to read. That was so fucking stupid. It was like, well, we went to Reddit and got to the bottom of this. And they're like, first of all, the fact that people are on Reddit and they're like, who works at Chick-fil-A? I must know this. Is just, it just hurts me inside. That, like, somebody got paid money and they work a job and they put out an article that is about what if somebody gives a fake name for their Chick-fil-A order. What do you mean, what if? There is no what if. Who gives a fuck? What, are they checking your fucking ID? No. And that's exactly what the article says. Somebody's like, well, what if I came to Chick-fil-A and said my name was Batman? What would you guys do? What would you guys do about that? And they're like, the response was, we have a customer who goes by Batman. We love Batman. And it's like, what? Okay, you should get some help for that guy. But yeah, who gives a fuck? Why would they care? What, like, just under what circumstances do you think like Chick-fil-A is an authority on what? I can't even put it into words. I'm just boiling with rage at the idea that like there could have been any type of other information in there. And then it was just like, if it's something we can't pronounce or something silly or whatever, if it's like a type thing, I guess. I don't really who cares? But they're like, we'll just put question marks and move on. Yes, that's the point. Regardless, they'll just move on. It's a fast food restaurant. Take your sandwich and go. What the fuck are we talking about here? Like, what if I put Elvis? Yeah, what if? What could possibly happen? They're like, you just picked the secret code word name. We're going to give you $10 million. Fuck. That made me so mad. I thought this was going to be a good day. Fuck that person. And fuck that article. Fuck everything about that. That was horrific. What else we got? God damn it. That was so awful. Royal aides are shocked by the sheer nerve of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's recent offer to the Queen. Here's what I think about that. Fuck them. Fuck those Brits. Go to England. Go to somewhere else. She's from here. I get it. But the idea that like, oh, we're going to leave the royal family to go to Hollywood, it's like, fuck you. She just manipulated him. That's what that made me think. Not that I give a fuck about him. He's a fucking loser Brit. You know, I hate him. But you know what I mean? It's like, you're none of our business. You know, she fucking jumped ship. So I don't, you know what I mean? I don't care what Prince Harry thinks about anything. Fuck Prince Harry. Why are we calling him that anyway? His name is Harry here. Ain't no princes here. There's one prince, rest in peace, okay? And he's from Minnesota. You ever been to Minnesota, Prince Harry? I don't think so. So you can go fuck yourself. God damn it. I lost 70 pounds. My favorite easy snacks for weight loss. In this picture, this chick's eating nachos. It looks like. Are those nachos? I don't know. Either way. Shut up. Oh, here's another great article from Mashed. 40% agree this is the worst brand of mayonnaise. What if 60% of people agree it's a different one? Incomplete data. Anyway, the answer's got to be Miracle Whip. Let's see. I'm going to click on it. I'm feeling great about Mashed today. They're really crushing it. Yes, it is Miracle Whip, of course. Now, I'm pretty sure Miracle Whip isn't mayonnaise. And that's why, people would consider it the worst mayo. It's not mayo. So, regardless, use Hellman's. It's the best. To all my white people out there, Howie Mandel's mental health crisis, quote, teetering on depression. Sounds like not a crisis at all. He's like, I'm almost sad. Howie Mandel is like, holy shit, you guys, I was almost sad yesterday. We got to get on the news and, get ahead of this. We got to figure this out. I felt bad for 10 minutes the other day. It was a nightmare. You'll never believe what I had to go through. Dumb thing about vaccines. Nobody cares. COVID's over. It's been over. We don't talk about it anymore. This sounds crazy. Look, video of sideline reporter eating a banana going viral. Why would that go viral? You can't eat a banana? Let's see. Let's take a look at this video. Okay, what the fuck? Honestly, that was a pretty crazy video. I'm shocked. This bitch. So the article gave some context. I guess some guy in college football got caught eating a whole banana, peel included. And this chick's like, I'm doing it for content. And she's like, I'm going to take a bite of this banana through the peel. It looked like she almost threw up. It was just crazy. Why would you do that, lady? What? It's like, what could you gain? What, are you going to become an internet sensation because you ate a banana with the peel on? You know what I mean? It's just gross. You're just being gross. The fact that you said that it's for content, that's the problem. You have to pretend like, yeah, I'm going to eat this banana. What's good? You know what I mean? You have to play it like it's normal. You have to do it without mentioning that you're doing it. And then that's what makes it compelling. Somebody's like, hey, you want a banana? Yeah. And then they're like, catch. They throw it to you. Boom. You're like, sick. Thanks. I'm going to eat it right now. And then you just take a bite right out of it. And they're like, what the fuck? Like, you're a psychopath. And that's much more interesting. So you're welcome. ESPN, feel free to hire me. So, let's see. I think that's about all we got there. Oh, look at this. Mashed. With another great headline. The best burger chain according to nearly 28% of people. It's like, so not quite that many people like this place that much. But we wrote this anyway. It's just like, okay. Holy fuck. Mashed, officially the worst website of all time. Just cannot come up with any ideas about anything. Oh, I don't like this. Hold on, there's one more that I saw. Like, okay. This is just creepy. This article from something called 2 Paragraphs, I don't know, it just showed up on Google News. Martin Scorsese's gorgeous daughter, 21, which, that's an adult, I guess, technically, but come on. I'm 26, and I think that this is gross. For a headline, especially, like, come on. Daughter, 21, stuns in lacy bras, quote, too hot to handle. Ugh. Don't write about Marty's daughter like that. That's disrespectful. No, I'm going to click on it. Wait a second. Hold on. Ew. Wow, this is disgusting. This article is absolutely disgusting. It like talks about her as a child first for like context. It's like, yeah, you said that it's his daughter. So it's just weird. And then it just shows like her Instagram pics, and they're just like basic pictures. They're not like sexy pictures. So it's just extra gross. I'm very upset that happened. So we're definitely going to pivot away from the news app. Yikes. Marty, I'm sorry that you had to hear that. I know you're listening. I'm sorry that had to happen in general. Okay? 2 paragraphs, terrible publication, confirmed. It's no Mashed. I can tell you that much right now. I'm still trying to shake that off. What a way to close out. Anyway, please keep a lookout for that multiplex record. I will definitely talk about it every episode leading up and after for a while. I'll be sure to link it straight up once it's there. Or if we can get the pre-save thing up too, like that's a whole nother thing. There'll be more updates in that regard then. So we'll see. But yeah, record's coming soon. Can't wait for people to hear it. Shit fucking slaps, dog. Shit fucking slaps. There's 2. Well, there's really only 1. There's a Twin Peaks tribute track on there. It's called Tulpa. There's a little interlude, like precursor to it too. That's technically for our man, Special Agent Chet Desmond. I will say, I don't like that Chris Isaac wasn't in The Return at all. Definitely could have used a Chet Desmond loop around. I liked him. I'm a big Chet Desmond guy. It's a great name, also, just in general. But, it's okay. It's okay. David Lynch, he did what he wanted. I still don't really know who Judy is. Just going to be honest. It's not easy for me to admit that, but it's tough. We're not going to talk about Judy at all. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to bring David Bowie back, even though he's dead, as a tea kettle, you can bring Chet Desmond back. Kiefer Sutherland, what was he doing in 2017? Was the 24 reboot happening? Did that happen? I don't know what's going on with that. I don't watch fucking 24. That's how I have my inner dialogues. It's like, you're a fucking idiot. No, you're a fucking idiot. And it's like, oh yeah, true. Just kind of move on. Terrifying. Whew. All right, I got to get out of here. I'm going crazy. I think my dad's going crazy. Rate, review, subscribe. Requiem for a Tuesday. Wherever books are sold. No. Wherever podcasts can be listened to. I got it everywhere. Check out the YouTube. Just cause. The music, like I said, like I've been saying, all linked in the description below. Yeah, we gotta get these numbies. We gotta keep them going. So spread the word, do your thing. Appreciate ya. We got the merch. Don't forget the merch. RFAT.bigcartel.com. My Instagram is adam.rfat if you are so inclined. And I think that's it. Right? If not, no worries, baby. I'll catch you next time. Again, if you're a live listener in the present day, there will probably not be an episode next week. So keep that in mind. I know you'll miss me. I will miss you. But first, I just want to remind you, I are fat. You are fat. We are fat. Calculator.